Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
Hello there. Welcome to another episode of the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week, live on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. From our suburban studios, we are going to bring you the best news of the Boston Sports Day without any of the BS of Boston Sports Talk Radio. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio is right here on the Wicked Boston Show. Today, we are talking about probably the biggest surprise sports story in Boston this year. And no, it's not the Patriots. The Bruins just keep winning, including without, for a large part, two of their best players. How is this ragtag group of players stepped up without David Pastrnak and Charlie McAvoy in the lineup. We'll go over that. Plus, we will start to preview this Patriots-Bills matchup, probably the biggest Patriots game in 4 years. And if the Pats do win the AFC East, what does that mean for the future of this division? Jordy McElroy of Patriots Wire will join us to help break that down. Then it's Wednesday, so we get weird. Zach Burke gives us the weirdest sports stories of the week on Weird Wednesday, and we have it all for you coming up on this episode of the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart. But we start where we start, and that is on the ice. The talk around Boston is, how are the Bruins doing this? How are the Bruins still in a playoff spot in almost mid-December now? David Pastrnak just got back in the lineup last night against the Blues, but he had missed 5 games. Charlie McAvoy has been out for a considerable period of time, and yet the Bruins just keep winning. It's 4 of their last 5. They're dominating teams over their last 3 outings, a 5-2, a 4-1, and another 5-2. So do the math there. It's a lot. It's 14-5. That's right. They're outscoring teams by 9 goals over the last 3 games. So how is this happening? This was supposed to be a basement dweller. This was supposed to be a team that had no talent outside of Charlie McAvoy and specifically David Pastrnak. And then you take them both out of the lineup and they not only tread water, but they go over 500. They're staying in a playoff spot. How is this happening? Well, tell you what, they have a ton of guys stepping up that I don't think anybody expected to step up. And the biggest one for me so far, and I think specifically last night, Fraser Minten is a player. Okay, you robbed the Leafs with that deal. And I know people are going to say, seriously, everyone's hyping up Fraser Minten. 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points in 31 games. Why are we hyping this kid up so much? Well, I think he did a lot of great things without putting points on the board through the first couple of months of the season. But you saw last night exactly what this kid is capable of. When he is playing with talent, this is what he can do. It's David Pasternak's first game back in the lineup. Marco Sturm puts him down on the third line with Fraser Minten centering. And what happens? Fraser Minten scores 2 goals. David Pastrnak gets 3 assists. You add Mark Kastelik's 2 goals in there, and you have got a game that is fully dependent on depth scoring, and you won by 3. When Fraser Minten is playing with Tanner Jeannot and Mikey Eyssimont, he's a really stingy, effective defensive player. When he plays with real talent, transcendent kind of talent, he looks a hell of a lot better. Does that speak more to David Pastrnak than it does to Fraser Minten? Probably yes, but David Pasternak's a top 5 forward in the league. But Fraser Minten, when he's playing out there with real talent, and the Bruins are going to have real talent around him someday, he is a stud player. He's a plus guy who wins more than 50% of his faceoffs as a 21-year-old. Like, think of how long it takes other guys to get that part of the game down. Like, that's a huge reason for stunted growth among centers. They can't win faceoffs. They can't play in the defensive zone. Fraser Minten does both of them. It's at like 51%. So room for improvement? Sure. But he's 21. Like, Lord knows James Higgins doesn't have it down. Doesn't have the faceoff thing down. And he was a top 10 pick in the draft and a deserved top 10 pick in the draft. Not trying to take anything away from him, but there were some games in the NCAA where they put him on the wing because they don't want him taking the faceoffs. Minton's got that down. And since last year's trade deadline when you got him, so from that to the start of this season, in a dozen games plus training camp, Fraser Minten made himself undroppable. He supplanted himself way above Matt Patra in the pecking order here. Patra hasn't even played an NHL game this year. Like, that guy was supposed to be the future of the position for you. Remember, the next Bergeron. Bergeron goes out, Matty Patra comes in. And yeah, that was obviously way too much hype, and I don't think anyone really bought into that. But You were thinking, okay, here's a guy who plays a similar style game. You need the help at that position. Here is your future right here. Turns out he wasn't. He probably isn't. It is Fraser Minten, even though they're roughly the same age. Patriots 22. And the best part about it, you got him for Brandon Carlo. Like, Carlo was going downhill to begin with. I mean, good 22-23 season. I thought not very good in 23-24 and really poor last year. Like, just couldn't handle the puck. Really had trouble clearing his own zone, which the whole Bruins team had trouble with last year. And you sold him with a bag of goods to Toronto. Like, I don't know how the Leafs thought that Brandon Carlo was going to be a guy who was going to be your big physical stay-at-home defensive defenseman. He's not that. And now he's in the Athletics' top 10 trade bait for the deadline. Like, Toronto's offloading him already. The Bruins potentially have a center for the next 10 years out of that deal. And a first-round pick. My God, man, this could go down like the Tuukka Rask deal, like the Kessel deal for a little bit. You know, you're fleecing this team over and over and over again. And Fraser Minten's not the only one, okay? Because one of the other guys, obviously Morgan Geekie, looks like, you know, potentially the MVP of the league right now. But how about Mason Lowry? Remember him? We haven't heard anything about him lately. Remember, he's the one who was scratched 5 games in a row last month, and they won all 5. And we were wondering if he was ever going to play for the team again, whether they were going to trade him because they had no use for him. And here he is. He's sitting with 12 points in 25 games for a third-pairing defenseman. He's set to definitely surpass the 33-point total he had last year. And he's quarterbacking your second power play. A power play unit that, by the way, is top 5 in the entire NHL after being the worst Bruins power play in 20 years last year. And he's a plus player. This is a guy who literally won the Masters last year. League leading minus 43. Minus 43. And this year, his team was supposed to be even worse. He was supposed to be even worse just last month. But he's a plus player. He responded. He's a young guy who was sent up to the ninth floor for over a week, and he responded. Just like everyone else has responded to Marco Sturm. Lowry has been better since being benched. Middlestat has been better since being benched. Swayman has been better since being benched. He's a player's coach who's not afraid to call them out when he needs to, and these guys respond. They don't pout. They don't take their puck and go home. They don't get the coach fired like Jake DeBrusk did. You've got a group of mentally tough guys here. And last year, it didn't seem like that. I didn't think they would have that this year. But they seem to have good leadership, especially from the coach's box, from Marco Sturm, behind the bench. I got to say, so far, I have been way wrong about Marco Sturm. And I've been way wrong about the depth about this team. You know, everyone was wrong about the depth for this team. This was supposed to be a bottom 5 team in the league. Like, sucking miserable for McKenna, I think is what it was. Miserable for McKenna. And yet they're in a playoff spot in December, and they're playing good hockey even without some of their best players in the lineup. And now the reinforcements are coming. Pasternak's back in the lineup, and McAvoy has made the trip here. It's a tough couple of games in a row with Winnipeg and Minnesota. But this is a guy who broke his jaw. He lost 20 pounds in the last month, and everyone was saying, yeah, he'll be back by the Olympics. But now he's making the trip. He's skating. He might play this week. 2 months before the Olympics. I tell you what, things are trending in the right direction for this team. I know Jersey's on a bad stretch, and that's who they beat on Saturday, and the 2 games in between were St. Louis, and St. Louis sucks. I get it. But they were losing to teams that sucked last year. Now they're beating them handily. And this is going to be an interesting couple of weeks here, really. But these next couple of games, Winnipeg and Minnesota. You know, Winnipeg, obviously, a wagon last year, kind of up and down this year. Minnesota red hot with Wallstedt. Their goalie's been unbelievable. So I think this will be a good measuring stick road trip. And then you got a couple of important divisional games right before Christmas. So how have they done it without Pastrnak? They've all stepped up. Everyone stepped up. And I can't believe it myself, but here they are. Who has been the most impressive to you? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel because we come at you live on YouTube every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio, right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. When we come back, let's talk Patriots because, man, this is a massive week for your New England Patriots. Jordy McElroy of Patriots Wire will join the show to talk about just how important this is and why the Patriots have the edge in the Drake Maye, Josh Allen duel. That's coming up next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Welcome back, Wicked Boston Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. Your host, Cam Stewart, Zach Burke behind the glass. We're going to hear from Jordy McElroy in just a second here, but just reminding you to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. About 90% of you watching on average are not actually subscribed to the channel. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. You know, it's coming up here live every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. All anybody can talk about in Boston this week is the Patriots, winners of 10 in a row, coming off the bye week, and bam, here it is, the biggest regular season game all season for possibly the entire conference, the Patriots and the Bills. So to help us preview, we're going to bring in managing editor of Patriots Wire, Jordy McElroy. Jordy, great to see you on our screen again, and great to be talking about such an important game. Here's my first one for you. Let's set the stage. This is the most important Patriots game since
Tom Brady was quarterback, since the 2019 season.
Yes.
Because this is their chance to go in there and claim that AFC East throne. If they win on Sunday, then they clinch the division.
Hat and t-shirt game, man. It's been a long time since we have had, well, it feels like a long time. I know for the rest of the league, it probably isn't. But it definitely feels like a long time around here after it was ho-hum every year. And this is how you dreamt it up if you were a Patriots fan at least a couple of weeks ago, knowing where this win streak could lead to. Patriots, Bills, your home stadium. Would have been nice to have a prime time, but I don't mind a nice little 1 o'clock game for this one. And every time we get this matchup, Jordy, the 3 times we've gotten it so far in Drake Maye's career, all the talk has been Drake Maye, Josh Allen, right? These are 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league. Of course, that's what you're going to be talking about. And most of the time it's come as comparison, right? Like Drake Maye looks a lot like Josh Allen. And obviously that bodes really well for Patriots fans. I want to get your take. Do you see the similarities there between Drake Maye and the reigning MVP?
Yeah, so it's a tough comparison because obviously they're both big quarterbacks. They're both incredibly athletic. They can move around in the pocket and make plays on their legs. And they obviously both have big, strong arms. But, I often hear people say that how it's not fair to compare Drake Maye to Josh Allen so early in his career. And they're like, man, who's this kid getting compared to freaking Josh Allen? It's only his second year. But Cam, I'm gonna say something right here. I don't think it's fair on Drake Maye's end either to get that comparison, because in year 2, Drake Maye's already further along than Josh Allen was. Josh Allen didn't really take off until year 3, so we really don't know what the ceiling looks like for Drake Maye, which is scary for the rest of the league and great for the Patriots.
You're just saying the quiet part out loud here, because I've been thinking that all season of like, man, even if you look at the numbers last year, like we know that Josh Allen was really raw coming into the league, right? But so was Drake Maye. This was a team that won 4 games the year before, and they were riding with Jacoby Brissett the first couple of weeks because they didn't think this kid was ready. And he kind of took to it much quicker than Josh Allen did. And you could argue Allen even had a better setup, even though those Bills teams weren't quite there yet. So yeah, big quarterbacks, both can get outside the pocket, but I'm telling you right now, Drake Maye's having a better year, and he's having a better start to his career in terms of the accuracy numbers and the downfield passing. It's not even really close. So let me then follow up by saying, is it fair then for Patriots fans just in year 2 to think that Drake Maye could be that kind of nailed on top 3 quarterback in the league, should be making the AFC Championship game annually, kind of franchise face in the future?
I mean, I think it is at this point, because Drake Maye has kind of already shown that he's capable of doing all of that. I mean, you look at the team, they've won 10 straight games. They're 11-2, sitting here with a chance to clinch a division and obviously clinch a playoff berth. Right now, tied for the number 1 seed in the AFC conference. I mean, Drake Maye and them, they look ready to go right now. And it's not, Mike Vrabel coming in, what's incredible. And it's such an important key to get the organization together and everything, and everyone rallying behind Vrabel and, him just kind of setting the tone. But you need that guy. You need Drake Maye for all of this to fall into place. And Drake Maye even being there is why Mike Vrabel came in the first place. And as long as you got that guy, you have hope and there's a chance to win it all. So, yeah, I don't see why not. I think Patriots fans should rightfully expect them to go into playoffs, for them to make a run, and for them to potentially compete for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I had to stop myself. I was going to ask, should Patriots fans expect him to be a future MVP? And it's like the future might be in 2 months. He's right there. Obviously, it's him and Stafford back and forth. And, with each week, there's a new betting favorite. I know we went in depth about that last time we had you on. But looking at this again, hat and t-shirt game. Patriots win. They win the AFC East. The Bills were the most confident anyone in Vegas had this year preseason for a division champion. And here the Patriots are 1 win away from kind of taking the crown from them, so to speak, in the 5 straight AFC East championships. So if the Patriots do that on Sunday, is that a passing of the torch where it is for the next 2-3 years, at least, the Patriots division to lose, even though Josh Allen's still there?
Well, Cam, I think I told you last time I was on that I expected the Patriots to win maybe 6 or 7 games or something like that coming out. So anything from here on out for me is just a cherry on top of the cake right here. So if they were to go in here Sunday and they were to knock off the Buffalo Bills, I mean, that would be unbelievable. I think it would be a passing of the torch type of game. Not to get ahead of myself, I see that it's just such a tough game, beating such a talented team twice in the same season. I mean, but seeing them sitting at 11-2, it's like I'm living in Stranger Things, the upside down world here, seeing the Patriots, do what they're doing this year. It wouldn't surprise me, but that's a tough game for them to win. And for them to go on there, if Drake Maye were to outplay Josh Allen again, man, that says a lot about their chances of not only just owning this division moving forward, but also contending for a Super Bowl. For me, I kind of I'm kind of seeing the Bills possibly evening the score in this matchup right here. I'm looking more still. I'm not counting the Patriots out for this year. I'm not. Like they could go all the way. Who knows? But I'm looking at that team more of like a next year type of team and how scary that team could be. I mean, you see what all Mike Vrabel's done in just year one. I mean, year two, this team could potentially be a juggernaut. You got all your draft picks and then some, and obviously you're entering with the most salary cap space in the league. So I'm looking more towards the future. And but I don't blame anyone for having hope for this year too, because they're right here. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, and it still feels like house money. Of like, it's great if they do. Not that we won't be disappointed if they lost in the Super Bowl or something, because that sucks. But like you didn't expect them to be here, and here they are. And you said it. It's going to be tough, no matter where you're playing it, to beat this Bills team 2 years in a row. And 2 games in a row, excuse me. And there is something to the fact that they've won this division 5 straight years. Like, they know how the season works, for lack of a better term. They know that these are the games that matter in December, and that the ones in October are just the ones in October. And looking at the last time they played, that was where this whole winning streak started. And one of the big deals in that game wasn't just Drake Maye and Steph Diggs, but the fact that they held James Cook under 50 yards. He's had a great year. It's been one of the lowest outputs of the season. And that was with Milton Williams in the lineup, plugging up the middle. Does this run defense the last couple of weeks look more vulnerable without Milton Williams out there?
I mean, they do. The numbers back it up. They're over the last 3 games, they're allowing an average of 123.7 yards per game on the ground. And that's a big problem when you're going up against the Bills team with not only James Cook coming out of the backfield, but obviously you have to worry about Josh Allen and his legs too, as the Cincinnati Bengals saw last week. So the Patriots, they're going to have to play very smart defense. They're going to have to be very disciplined. And, hopefully you can come away with some takeaways that Drake Maye can make the Bills pay on the other end with touchdowns more so than field goals. But one good thing the Patriots do have going in their favor this week, obviously Monday, we saw that Khyiris Tonga was back at practice. So he's been a big component along the defensive front. So if you can get that guy back up front, and hopefully Christian Barmore could have a big game. And we need K'Lavon Chaisson and obviously Harold Landry and these guys to show up and make some plays in this game. And, last week I touted Christian Ellis, who had an incredible game against the Giants. Well, not last week, but you know what I mean? A couple of weeks ago against the Giants, and, sitting there thumping everybody, had Jackson Dart helicoptering out of bounds, smashed up former Patriot gunner there on special teams. So if he were to come out and he were to kind of have that tone setting defensive type of performance, you need that to win this game. It can't all be about Drake Maye. I think the battle is going to be won between Josh Allen and that Patriots defense.
And that was a Patriots defense that came out with their hair on fire in that Giants game. Like, we know it's the Giants, right? But they came out looking to make a statement, and I would say they did. I would definitely say they did. One part of the area they struggle in, one part of the field they struggle in, though, it's the same one the offense has been struggling in the last couple of weeks. How much does the red zone concern you as the games get bigger?
I mean, it concerns me a lot, because that's how games are won or lost. You go up against Josh Allen, man, you can't come away with field goals. You've got to score touchdowns. So I expect there to be some tight decisions, obviously some tight moments in the game where maybe Vrabel goes for it on 4th downs. And, the Patriots, they're going to have to cash in. You're not going to beat the Bills off of Andy Borregales' leg. And Andy Borregales' leg's been pretty good for the most part as a rookie. Patriots are going to have to make some plays in this game to win.
I'm wondering if they get to like the 17 or the 16, Jordy, and they just take a false start, take a delay game. You know what I mean? Just pop it out to the 21, 22. Drake Maye's the best 20-plus yard in the air deep ball thrower in the league. Let's just do it. Let's just cut it loose, Canadian football style. But it's concerning. They're not we're running it. We're going to run it. We'll get the 2 yards anyway kind of team. They're just not, as much as they have kind of tried to be the last couple of weeks. But that said, we know we've got 2 MVP caliber quarterbacks going up against each other. 2 really good football teams, just all told. Where do you see the biggest advantage for the Patriots in this game?
Yeah, for the Patriots in this game, I see the biggest advantage on offense. I'm still not sold on the Bills defense. And their defense has been it's been pretty shaky. And if Drake Maye can get going like he did against the Giants, there's times where Drake Maye's out there, man. He's cooking for the most part, but there's some games where he's so dialed in, like he was against the Giants. That offense is hard to stop. And if they can get out there and they can make some plays early and they can start early, and an offense can put some points up and put some pressure on Josh Allen and company, I think that's where the game is won at. The Patriots, they got to get up. They got to get started on offense. I think in my head of Thanos getting the gauntlet or whatever, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a horrible Thanos voice. But that's the best I got this at this time. But this is the Patriots' time to do it themselves. And they need Drake Maye in that offense to start off fast. Can't be getting caught up in the red zone. Got to come away with touchdowns. I think that's the theme of the game right here.
Yeah, and what a time to turn your fortunes in the red zone. This would be the game. Patriots coming off a bye week. Josh McDaniels in the lab for a couple extra days. I'm hoping that is the case. I'm going to put you in the spot here a little bit, Jordy. I'm gonna have you turn back the years, a couple of years, because in this buildup, I can't help but think of 2021. And they won a field goal game, albeit a very fluky game in Buffalo that year, right? Remember the Monday Night Football and the crazy win they get up there. And then, you're feeling good, young quarterback. That was Mac's rookie year. Obviously, this Drake Maye's second year. And they had a chance. They needed to beat Buffalo in that game in Foxborough to have a chance to win the division. It would have been in their hands. And they couldn't get a stop, and they lost. And it kind of became a domino effect. They weren't a very good team going into the playoffs, and then obviously got destroyed by Buffalo in the postseason. So tell me, please, why is this game, this season, this team, at least in this matchup, different than that one?
Drake Maye and the coach. Mike Vrabel. Look, man, Belichick is he's the GOAT. And I will always say that until the end. He's the GOAT. You got to give the guy credit for what he's done in New England, but it was obviously time to move on. And that team started to slip there. And from the very beginning, even though Mac Jones was playing well and Josh McDaniels was doing his wizarding offensive play calling or whatever to make Mac Jones look better than obviously what he was. And, I don't blame Mac Jones for everything. I think the Patriots kind of broke him as well. But the quarterback, Drake Maye, he's the difference, man. And when you have that guy, you can feel different about going into this type of a matchup. Now, with that said, it wouldn't surprise me if Buffalo comes into this game and wins this game, because it's so hard to beat the same team twice in the same season. And what's even scary, they might have to play them 3 times in the same year if they meet again in the playoffs. So it's hard to do that. But even if the Patriots, and I'm going to brace yourself, Patriots fans, brace yourself, because these last 4 games, it's a tough little stretch here. Obviously you have the Bills trying to beat them twice in the same season. Going to Baltimore, that's not easy. I don't care how bad Lamar Jackson and companies look. It's winnable, but it's not easy. Jets, yeah, whatever. They'll blow past the Jets. The Dolphins have quietly been playing well. They've quietly been playing well. That's a sneaky one. It's a sneaky stretch. So you could see the Patriots going 1-3. If they go 2-2, I think it's great. I think that's great down the stretch. But, we'll see. These are some tough games coming up. But as long as you have Drake Maye quarterback and you have Mike Vrabel on the sideline, I think this team is set up for the long term for success. Patriots fans would obviously be let down if they don't go all the way this year. But I think you should be proud of this team for being in this position in the first place when most people, including myself, expected them to only win 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, 2-2 gets you to 13-4. That's not bad. That's a pretty good season. And you're dead on about Miami, man. I am worried. I'm kind of just worried about that one in general. Tua against the Patriots. He's he's Josh Allen, Joe Burrow when he's playing the Patriots. And you got them at their very worst in week 2. And they have the highest scoring output against the Patriots defense this year still with 27 points. So that could be a very, very tricky one on week 18 when hopefully you'll have whatever you want sewn up at that point. But Jordy McElroy from the Patriots Wire, before we let you go, let the people know how they can find you and what you guys got cooking on the website this week.
Yeah, man, you can always find me on Patriots Wire. You can find me on Twitter at Jordy McElroy. We'll be talking Patriots versus Bills, man. This is the biggest game of the year, in my opinion. This is for all the marbles, the AFC East divisional title. We'll see if the Patriots can rise to the occasion in this one.
Oh, I can't wait. And we'll certainly have to get your reaction as we're looking at the last 4 weeks of this season. As you said, could be a little tricky for the Patriots. Jordy, but I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, Cam. Talk soon.
Anytime. There he goes, Jordy McElroy of Patriots Wire, and he's right. They will have this covered from wire to wire, no pun intended. All angles covered for this Patriots-Bills matchup. Let us know what you think. Who's going to win the game and why? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live every weekday, noon Eastern time, right here on YouTube and available wherever you get your podcasts as well. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to get weird. It's Weird Wednesday here on the Rogue Media Network. Zach Burke giving us the weirdest sports stories of the week. And one of them, as you can tell, pretty odd. That's coming up next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
Now back to the show, the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart, and it is that time of day, that time of the week. Weird Wednesday here on the Wicked Boston Show. I bring in my esteemed colleague and friend and producer, Zach Burke from Behind the Glass, out in front. Zach is muted, which is very classy.
Yeah, that is very much me.
Kind of on the show. So, Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Feeling a little weird, which is appropriate for what we're doing here. But that was a very nice intro that I absolutely ruined by having my mic muted, though. So thank you.
No, I think it actually went well with the mic muted. I think it really flowed a lot better with the mic muted.
Fair enough.
So let's get weird.
Let's get weird. I have a couple stories that I came across this past week. Usually when I see them, I hang on to them. I'm like, all right, we'll talk about it on Wednesday. Okay. I know that there's one of them we've talked about some. There's some we haven't talked about at all. And one of them that I fell down a rabbit hole and learned something new. So I'm going to share this knowledge with everybody. Let's get started. I guess in the one that'll be just, we'll start with the rabbit hole that I fell down. Are you familiar with, and I'm trying to find, The Monaco midfielder Paul Pogba.
Paul Pogba. Yes.
Pogba, thank you. Yes. Okay.
Former Manchester United midfielder and Juventus midfielder. Yeah.
So within the last week, he has reportedly invested in the world's first professional camel racing team. He's hoping to provide more eyes on the sport, like help elevate it. It is a bit weird, but it led me down this whole rabbit hole because I was like, wait, camel racing is a thing? Like, I guess, yeah, sure. I didn't know if like people train to be camel jockeys or anything like that, but honestly,
I mean,
they have robots for that, Cam. This is an actual picture of what camel racing looks like that I found. Credit the BBC there for this lovely picture, but it is robots that ride on the back of camels.
You know what this makes me think of, though? You know, like this is the kind of shit, like 10 years from now, you hear about athlete X, in this case, Paul Pogba, has no money left, you know, and everyone's like, how, man? Like, you made tens of millions of dollars, you know, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars for some of these guys throughout your career. And you, like, what the hell did you spend it on? It's camel racing. Investing is what he'll say. It's in camel racing. Where is this big? Paul Pogba's from France.
It's in Saudi Arabia.
Of course.
Yep.
Of course it is. I love that the Saudis are trying to corner the sports market, and they're like, you know what hasn't been tapped? Untapped market. Camel racing.
Exactly.
Here's an interesting story to piggyback off of this before we close it out. Is so I follow this girl on Instagram who I went to college with. We had a couple classes together. Gorgeous, like drop dead gorgeous young lady, to the point where like we barely even spoke. Like we worked on some projects together and everything. Like I'm not a total creep. But like I wasn't even gonna try. Like she's way out of my league. And she's really nice. Like she's followed up with my work or followed some of my work. I followed some of her work. And she posts on Instagram yesterday, you know, on her story, and it was like her at a podium doing some public speaking, which she does a lot of, and it was like a couple of, you know, Arab guys next to her in the picture, and she said, like, thanks so much to His Excellency Sheikh whatever and His Highness Sheikh what. I'm like, oh my God, she's been nabbed by the Saudis. Like she's making millions probably to do this. It's like golf, soccer, the public speaking circuit. It's like that is something when you see someone you used to know now being I don't want to say a shill. I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah, but
outside this Saudi royalty,
it's everywhere. Like I mean, obviously there was the whole like comedy festival and just everything else. I know it's big in the sports world too, but I think I saw an ad on YouTube the other day where it's a bunch of streamers and I had no clue what it was about, and then at the end it's like visit Saudi, and I'm like, oh, they're doing tourism ads on YouTube now. But it is what it is.
That's what we need.
Let's stay with the animals just because this is a natural move over. But Cam, our next weird story is actually we're going to have to travel in our way back machine back a bit, but it is a story that I discovered this past week and thought that you would also appreciate too. We are both fans of the Western Professional Hockey League, which was had teams that covered the state of Texas, New Mexico, I think Louisiana, maybe into Arkansas.
The Western, baby. Yeah.
Very much when you think of
W.
Yeah, that's what you think of is right there smack dab in the middle of the state. But it was a hockey league that was ran, I believe, from 96 to 2001. We love
that's the same amount of time as that's literally the same window as my parents' marriage, by the way.
Oh, do you think that it was related to the
that's probably my subconscious, like that's why I love the league so much.
But so filled with a lot of small Texas teams that probably didn't need to have teams, but still it leads to a lot of great stories. And I was introduced, this is an old article too, but Sean Pete, who was he played at Dartmouth before. Always had the love. We'll relate it to the Bruins a little bit. Always had the dream of playing for the Providence Bruins.
Really? I love that. The fucking minor league team. He's like, I just really wanted to play for them, man.
He's like,
yeah.
He's an Ivy League defenseman who played at Dartmouth, who would love to, as they would drive by because they live close by the stadium, always think, I'd love to play there. And instead, he had to go down south to Corpus Christi to end up playing. But he tells this story. He tells a couple stories, and I'm gonna throw them all because it'll be very quick. But I thought you would appreciate this, of things that he saw in his time playing for Corpus Christi in the WPHL. It included and I lost the article when I was doing this. It included watching a Zamboni crash through the boards as they were sitting there, like watching the guy clean the ice, and like, he's taking that a little bit fat. And crashed.
I've seen something like that happen real quick. When I was in Odessa, they had a first responders night, and they will like bring the fire to like a small fire truck, like police SUV out on the ice. And the guy is driving up towards it, and it's just enough room to get through the Zamboni doors, right? And they're like, keep coming. Like, I know it's tight, but like, we got it. You're good. You're good. And he was just so nervous. Then finally he hits it, and he doesn't have enough room. And the side mirror gets stuck on the end boards and just brings 3 of the boards down.
Damn.
And like a dude got like almost knocked out. It was crazy. So this stuff does happen.
Yeah. He talks about that the Zamboni driver was drunk, and they're just like, he should slow down. Okay. He also talks about at a game in Amarillo. I'm sorry, not Amarillo, in Laredo. The fans sat patiently after the end of the third and final period of the game, waiting for a football style fourth quarter to happen.
Hell yeah.
Which makes sense.
That happens. Laredo, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But my favorite, here we go. Another time in Belton, which the Central Texas Stampede is the team he played
Stone's throw from the Rogue Media headquarters.
It is a stone's throw from here. The team held a guess the weight of a steer contest between periods. They trotted out the steer, and it promptly fell on the ice and broke its leg. There was no hope for it.
Oh, no.
So the PA, they announced for the women and children to leave the arena. They end up taking care of the animal and having to drag it off the ice, then allowing the women and children back in and continuing the game.
Oh my God.
I thought you would appreciate they continued the game afterwards.
You can't even write that shit, man. I mean, dude, if I could make any feature film, it would just be a slap shot recreation, but based in the Western Professional Hockey League, and do some shit like this.
Yes.
That is unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
poor steer, dude. Poor steer, man.
But
you force him out on the fucking ice, man. He's never been on that ever.
Exactly.
That's cruel. I mean, that's like that's like horse racing. I mean, it's the same thing.
Or camel racing.
I attended the Kentucky Derby last year.
Did you wear a fancy suit and hat? And
not really. I don't have a fancy suit. I wore a suit. And it's my future in-laws. Future father-in-law loves doing it. Goes every year. Part of a horse ownership group too. So small part, but still we go as like kind of a team. And none of his 3 daughters knew what happened if a horse breaks its leg. Thankfully, we didn't see any, but they were like appalled. I was like, you really have not heard of this? Like, it sucks. And it happens all the time, man. It happens all the time. But that is so WPHL.
Yep.
Oh man.
I thought,
all right, women and children, go outside, smoke them if you got them. All right.
I wonder, did
they come back in and they're just doing the thing with the shovel, like getting the shaved ice with all the blood on it over to the corner, like just patting it into the
I
board.
wonder if there's some intern where they're like, all right, they're good now. Go back out there and tell everybody they can come back in.
Oh God. So then I get like, this is the other thing too. It's kind of hard to conceptualize up here, but I'm sure they have a rifle somewhere in the arena. Anyway, like in a professional arena,
I mean, given the area where
you might have it, like in football games, you have snipers, like, right. But big football games and stuff. But like, I'm sure whomever brought the steer there probably had a rifle in his truck, if nothing else. You know, you have to prepare for this kind of thing. That is fucking great.
Yep.
Anyway,
I'll bring it back though to present day for our last one. I wanted to make, and I'll have to save this. Maybe we can talk about some point in time. I think, and this isn't what we're getting into, but I think that there's something up with Desmond Bane. I don't know why he keeps throwing basketballs at people. Just that whole
GCU guy.
Yeah, well, just that whole Grizzlies team in general was filled with a bunch of just loudmouths that it seems like now that they don't have Steven Adams or a big around to like, stick up for him, they just seem like a bunch of, I don't know, just assholes in general. But the story we are talking about,
want to be gangsters.
Like, yeah, well, I watched him like throw the ball at OG and Anunoby this week, and like OG, who's a decent player, just I have to give it to him, just looked at him and goes, "What is your deal, man?"
That was so great. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Is this high school? Like,
but the story that we did get to, we'll look at, the NFL former San Diego Chargers cornerback Quentin Hammer posted on social media this week that true story. In 2011, I played completely shit-faced drunk in at least 8 games. Jammer posted on X on Monday. I went
apropos
back,
of nothing, by the way. Like,
yeah,
just tweeted it out there.
I think he goes in and he talks about that. Like he brought up a bigger question of like, NFL players of keeping things to themselves, like problems they have and not talking. There's a bigger like conversation he's trying to have that I don't want to take away from. But I did want to focus on the first part there of if he played half the season shit-faced. So I did a little bit of research and I thought that you might appreciate this. That was, in those 8 games he played, the first year since his rookie season where he did not have an interception. He had his lowest career total of passes defended. But my favorite one was, according to one report, PFF had him dead last in passer rating when targeted in 2011 at 131.8. So
at least Josh Gordon was setting NFL records when he was shit-faced.
And that's, well, and the thing is like, I know, it works from Josh Gordon you brought up. I know Mookie Blaylock had to, smoke it up before every game. But here's the difference. It made Mookie lock in and play some really great D. It looks like it didn't necessarily do the same thing for Quentin Jammer.
Nope, apparently not, man. This I was almost not surprised by, because when you think about it, like, Chargers fans, they've been through a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to imagine they saw this and were just like, yeah, sure. Of course.
Exactly.
Of course, man. Like, naturally, this is what happened. And what is fascinating about this in particular, that year 2011, when I was in my peak, by the way, I was like right at my peak in 2011. I was 14. And I believe that's the year that the Chargers, it might have been 2010, I think it was 2011, where they had the number 1 offense in the league and the number 1 defense in the league and did not make the playoffs.
Yes, I think
which
you're
is
right. Let me look it up.
Almost impossible. Someone did a great video on it on YouTube a couple years ago, and basically broke it down to obviously how shit their special teams were. And like they would give up, like they gave up 2 kick returns for a touchdown in a game and lost, and that they weren't very great on third downs. They had great, yardage wise, number 1 total offense, but they weren't scoring enough points. And it's a fascinating breakdown, but that is just like the perfectly most chaotic, stupid NFL season ever. And it just so happens that your best corner at the time, Quentin Jammer, was just shit-faced throughout the whole season.
Yep.
Is just perfect, straight out of central casting. You talk about the Browns and the Jets and the Bengals and their futility. The Chargers can match you a lot of the time in terms of just like, what the fuck kind of stories. They've had better teams, like
here recently for sure.
And they've gotten close to Super Bowls. Like when they've had good stretches. When I was growing up, the Chargers are good every year. But I have this feeling now that like, they're kind of banged up this year. They got a good team. They're playing Kansas City this week, who's desperate for a win. I have this feeling that they're going to lose and miss the playoffs, like lose, 3 of their last 4 and miss the playoffs. And the Colts will hold on and get in with their new starting quarterback, Phillip fucking Rivers.
I thought about
Chargers, man.
Yeah. I thought about adding that one in there too, but I figured it was big enough that, we all knew about it. He's going to have to wait another 5 years now to be Hall of Fame eligible, which is kind of odd to me then too. But I guess at that point, well, the thing that got me was he hasn't played, I think that I read since the COVID year?
That sounds right.
Yeah. I want to say maybe it was like a year out, but
it might have been. It might have been though. Like it might have been 21.
3-4 years at least. So I just imagine he has to hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor, and that's about all they're going to ask of him for the most part.
And like he's just gonna come in and be the starter. That's where I question. Like you brought in Daniel Jones on like a flyer this year, and you don't have a backup quarterback that you even trust
Riley
to
Leonard
start an NFL game. Yes. Like, what are we doing? He technically is on the practice squad. Yeah, 2020 was the last time he played.
Damn.
He's been a head coach of a Catholic high school in Alabama since then. Like,
he's probably in the best shape he's been in a while.
He does have the NFL record. He's tied with two other guys for 25 consecutive pass completions. Tied with Nick Foles and Ryan Tannehill.
That's
Texas
a weird group. It is,
boys.
but that's a strange group to be with that in there. But yep. So
that's you know what kind of group that is? A weird one. And that's Weird Wednesday. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for listening. Guess what? We'll be back tomorrow, noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. We'll see you then on the Wicked Boston Show.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.